Hello, everybody out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. I'm back. That's right, I'm back. All right, and I'm really excited to be back too because, wow, this summer has been something else. Okay, it's summer. Okay, it's vacations. It's all sorts of stuff. All right. Okay, I'm a single dad. All right, so I got to go to all these birthday parties, all these baseball games, football games, soccer games. I had a World Cup party yesterday. So, and I got a life. I don't just make YouTube videos. I do stuff. I haven't. I put my money where my mouth is. All right, if you know what I mean. Okay, I don't just talk you know, about my relationship anecdotes here when I'm reviewing chick flicks. Okay, I'm making them up as I go along. Okay, I'm creating new anecdotes. All right, if you know what I mean. All right, so yes, I have a personal life too. Okay, so and no, I don't tell them about this channel. Like the only women that know about this channel are like my platonic friends. They know about the channel. That's it. Okay. Women I date don't know about it. Although once I did have a woman that found this channel and she was not happy, but I don't care. I'll tell her I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm gonna keep making my videos. If you want to step, go. Okay, I don't care. I'm gonna keep making my videos because this is something I like to do. All right, and I do. I love doing this. I love making these YouTube videos. Okay, although, and I've said this before, personally, I would rather review movies that I like. Okay, like action movies. Like I just saw a movie called Citizen Vigilante, which is really good. It's with Armie Hammer. Yes, he's trying to make a comeback. He was blacklisted a few years ago, but I like that one a lot. Okay, I mean, I was actually jumping out of my chair watching that movie, going like, yeah, So I tend to like action movies, science fiction stuff, superhero movies, obviously superhero movies. I grew up with those. Transformers, the stuff from my childhood, sci-fi, action, adventure, martial arts, military. I was in the military a long time. So, give me a good military movie and I'll watch that as well. Okay, that's what I generally tend to go for. But those are easy to review, because, and there's so many other people that do that better than me. Okay, as far as reviewing guy movies, I mean, I watch like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic, and those guys, man, those guys know what they're talking about. They grew up watching all the same crap that I did. Okay, they just express it a lot better than me. Okay, like the Odyssey. I would love to review the Odyssey. Okay, because I know that's just gonna be a woke abortion. I know it's making a lot of money, but I know it's just a woke piece of crap. That's all it is. Woke crap. You do not make Helena Troy black. Okay, you don't make Sinon. Okay, one of Odysseus' greatest warriors, a trans man. Get the fuck out. That's a woman. That's a chick. All right? No. Okay, Steven Spielberg did that crap in his remake of West Side Story, and there's a reason that movie flopped. All right? They had a trans man in the gang in that movie. Okay, what the hell is this abortion? No, you can't put woke stuff into something that's timeless. It does not fit. All right, look at all those black people that are supposedly Greek. Are you out of your freaking mind? Are we supposed to believe that that's what it looked like back then? No, of course not. Okay, so I know that's gonna be woke trash, but it is a guy movie, stuff like that. Spider-Man's coming out soon. I'm gonna go watch that. Spider-Man, obviously. Okay, obviously, Spider-Man is my absolute favorite superhero ever. Always has been my whole life. So I tend to watch all those movies on opening day, all the Spider-Man movies. We've had some crappy stuff. We had the Mandalorian and Grogu. Nobody went to go see that, not even me. Okay, and I love Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars, but that ain't Star Wars. That's just gay stuff. Okay, that nobody cares about, and puppets that nobody cares about. What else came out? A Supergirl. Supergirl. You think I'm going to spend my money on that? No, nobody wanted to see that. Okay, and nobody did go see that. I think that's got like the record now for like the worst performing big budget superhero movie ever. So they're going to fire James Gunn for this. What else came out? Toy Story 5. I took my son to go see that. It was also woke trash, but it's almost at $1 billion. Almost. almost at $1 billion. It's like at $900 million. Toy Story 5. Okay, and that's woke trash. Woke as fuck. But yet, there's an audience for it. Parents don't think. They just, another Toy Story movie. Yeah, my kids will love that. And boom, they don't pay attention. To what the message that's being put in there. Okay. Minions and Monsters. Yes, I took my son to go see that too. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't anything great. I know a lot about. They're trying to put a lot of like old time Hollywood in there, like 1920s Hollywood. A lot of references to the golden age of Hollywood in that movie. Minions and Monsters. Yeah, I know it's a kid movie. And all that stuff, of course, is going to go over every kid's head. They don't understand that. But me, I'm a cinephile, obviously. I watch a lot of movies. I know a lot about movies. I know a lot about Hollywood. Okay. I was just pointing out the inaccuracies. Like, wait a minute. No, there's no way that could happen. Sound music hadn't been invented yet. By the way, that movie wouldn't come out for another 13 years. But they can't put that there. It's just stuff like that. And obviously for a little kid, it would completely go over their head. But for me, who knows about this stuff, like, wait, they got it wrong. That's not how it works. Okay, just stuff like that. What else? I saw Backrooms, which I thought was pretty good. It was more scary than I thought it would be. I have not finished watching Obsession yet, but I know that's Indy Darling, that girl that's in that movie, Indy Navarrete, whatever. Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. She's hot. And I've seen her before. She was in Superman and Lois. That TV. She played Lana Lang's daughter on that show. Okay, I know I'm old enough to be her dad. Okay, but hey, she's over 18, so like whatever. Okay, yeah, she looks really good. That woman. Anyway, so what else? I've not finished watching Obsession yet, but it looks pretty good so far. So I watched half of it, but life got in the way. Okay, now what am I reviewing? Okay, I'm reviewing Devil Wears Prada. That's what I said I'm going to review. I'm reviewing Devil Wears Prada Part 2, which came out a couple of months ago. All right, obviously last year I reviewed Devil Wears Prada 1, and it was the first time I'd ever seen that movie. Okay, so I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be a worthless piece of crap, just like all the other chick flicks that I reviewed for the most part, like The Notebook. What else did I review? Pretty Woman. That was a load of shit. What else? Oh my God, there's so many. How many chick flicks have I reviewed? Some of your favorites I know I have. Okay, but yeah, I expected Devil Wears Prada to be just another rom-com, just like all the other ones, like Baby Girl. I reviewed that worthless piece of shit. That movie pissed me off. Baby Girl. How are you like this boss bitch CEO of a $1 billion company? You have sex with one of your interns, okay, and yet it gets exposed. There's no scandal, okay. The board of directors does not force you to step down. Your husband immediately forgives you and has sex with you again. Your children immediately forgive you. You don't lose your job. There's no nothing. I mean, what the fuck is this? What the hell is this? Okay, and I reviewed that piece of shit. Okay, and so that's what I do is I review the Wicked movies, both the Wicked movies. I review that. I know that's more gay than female, but it's gay and female. So because of the female demographic, I reviewed it. All right. So I've reviewed a lot of chick flicks here, and I honest to God thought that Devil Wears Prada Part 1 was going to be just another example of this. Okay, just another rom-com, stupid ass rom-com. Okay, that women are going to finger themselves to. But then I found out in Devil Wears Prada Part 1, there was a few surprises there. First of all, it wasn't really about romance at all. That kind of shocked me because it was the whole New York, the whole Jewish New York, rich Jewish New York, middle-aged woman, professional fashion, the taxi cabs, cell phones, the pop music, the female empowerment pop music, and all that crap that you got from Sex and the City. And I have reviewed every single episode of Sex and the City. It's on this channel. I know what I'm talking about. All right. So I thought it was just going to be that. And there was very, very little, if no romance at all in Devil Wears Prada Part 1. Mostly it was about work culture. It was about, what are you willing to do to outwork the person next to you? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to be, the captain of your industry? That type of thing, And I thought that was a universal message. It kind of shocked me because here I thought it was just going to be another fucking, men are all bad, women are all strong, men are all stupid type stuff. And instead, there was that in there as well. But mostly what it was about, it was about, just learning about yourself, learning about like, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to pay the price to be where you want to be? Because it's not fucking free, okay? Nobody makes it to the top of their field without sacrificing something. Are you willing to make those sacrifices? What's more important to you? Okay, and this was epitomized by the character of Miranda Priestley. She's like the queen bee. She's the she's the editor-in-chief of Runway Magazine, which is a fictional magazine. It's based on Vogue, okay, on Vogue Magazine, all right? This is all publishing industry, magazines, okay? New York is the center of the publishing world. That's why all books get published out of New York, because that's where all the publishing companies are, all right? Magazines and stuff, and novels. So she's there, okay, and we got Miranda Priestley, who's this stuck-up woman, okay, who runs, Runway Magazine like Adolf Hitler, like a fascist. Okay, disrespects everybody, doesn't look anyone in the eye. They're not allowed to look her in the eye. She's rude to all of her assistants. She's rude to her executives. She's rude to her staff. She's rude to everybody, okay? But yet she's held in this high regard because, when it comes down to it, she actually knows what she's fucking talking about. She knows her shit, okay? She's not being a bitch just to be a bitch. She's being a bitch because she worked so hard to get to where she is that she's very protective of where she is. Okay, because she has demanded the best from herself for so long that nothing less than the best she's going to tolerate from anyone else around her. She expects everyone to perform at her level, and if they can't reach her level, then she's going to get rid of them. Okay, because that tells her that these people are not committed. They're not committed. They don't have the amount of commitment that she has. Therefore, they don't even belong in her presence. Okay, if you don't fucking eat, breathe, and shit fashion, okay, you're not even worthy of standing next to her or even being in the same room with her, okay? You better know your fucking shit, okay? Because she knows her shit, okay? That's what she is, okay? You see what I mean? And I thought like, well, there's good ways to look at that. There's bad ways to look at that. Even myself, I've met people like that in my life, okay? They just they're so good at what they do that they don't tolerate, they don't tolerate a substandard anything from anybody. It better be on their level or get the fuck out, okay? There's people that are like that, and people that succeed in a very, very competitive field like fashion, there's a billion Miranda Priestley wannabes out there that wish they had her job. But she's the only one that got it. And why? Because of who she is, because of her work ethic, okay? This level of power that she has, this influence that she has in the fashion industry, it does not come without a price. Okay, and that's what the movie kind of explains to you through the eyes of the main character, Andy Sachs, and she comes in as an assistant, as a secretary, secretary number 2. So she's the one that gets disrespected the most. Okay, and she's trying to learn all this stuff. Okay, she's a college graduate. She wants to work in publishing. She wants to work in journalism. Okay, and she sees being an assistant for Miranda Priestley at Runway Magazine as a stepping stone to another job. She can put that on her resume and then move on from there. Okay, but what she comes to learn is that, it's not, her position is not a stepping stone. Okay, it is a commitment. Okay, it is a commitment to the industry. You see what I mean? Here she is looking at her job as an assistant as just a stepping stone when other people would literally kill to have that job. Because they want their foot in the door in that industry. They want to be a Miranda Priestley someday, okay? And the only way they can get in from the outside is to take a bullshit job like assistant, okay? Which Andy managed to get, okay? But other women would kill for that job. You see what I mean? Because they actually care about fashion. Andy doesn't give a shit about fashion. She doesn't give a shit about her own fashion, okay? She's not that type of a person, okay? And the movie is all about her, like, starting to commit to the industry that she's in, and starting to kind of fall in love with it and starting to like the power and starting to get more responsibility, starting to be better at it. And it starts changing her into a bitch. She can see herself turning into Miranda Priestley. Okay? And I thought that was a really good story. Okay? And it didn't matter. You didn't have to be a chick to watch it or a gay guy to watch this movie and appreciate it. Okay? That's why I put it under chick flick praise, because I thought I was just going to destroy this movie. And instead, I actually got a lot out of it. I was like, oh my God, this is pretty good. Like this whole idea of what are you willing to sacrifice to be the best, okay, that whole idea works in so many other types of movies, not just, and this is the first time I've ever seen something like that in a chick flick. It's all about work ethic, and that's universal. Everybody who's ever had a job, okay, or has ever had a boss understands this, okay. And I thought that was a pretty interesting message. It was a good movie disguised as a chick flick, I think, okay, which is why I enjoyed it. Okay, so when I reviewed it last year, like I said, I was shocked. Now, it had the usual tropes, men are all bad, women are all good, blah, blah, blah. Women are smart, men are stupid. All that stuff was in there because, it's a chick flick, okay? But I like the message, and I like the fact that, that the themes that we're talking about there were pretty universal. Here's Andy Sachs is starting to break bad. She's starting, she wants to cheat on her boyfriend with a man of higher status. Okay, and what does she do? She ends up, losing her boyfriend, the guy that actually loves her, the guy that actually gives a shit about her, that knew her before she became this stuck-up bitch. So she can sleep with a guy that is basically doing what she wants to do. Okay, that's her way in. She sleeps with a guy to get her foot in the door. Okay, only to find out that this guy's a fucking asshole. Okay, which means that she's a fucking asshole too. You see what I mean? And she apologizes to her ex-boyfriend now in New York for being a bitch, but she doesn't tell him, oh, by the way, I fucked another guy. No, she doesn't say that. You see what I mean? Just stuff like that. And then she quits her job at Runway, okay, from being the second assistant because she doesn't want to end up like Miranda. She doesn't want to end up being a middle-aged bitch like Miranda. Because you got to remember, Andy is in her 20s here. She's a young woman. So she manages to get a job working at a regular magazine, lower pay, lower everything, not as prestigious, but she ends up getting a glowing reference from Miranda Priestley, at the end. So Miranda, in her own crazy way, ends up respecting Andy for quitting and not ending up like her, and she even makes amends to the first assistant who she fucked over, Emily, played by Emily Blunt. Yeah, I couldn't believe that was Emily Blunt because she's a big star now. But in 2004, when Devil Wears Prada Part 1 came out, or I think, was it 2006? I don't remember. When it came, 2006. Emily Blunt was still trying to, she was a rising starlet. She was never the star of anything yet. She was just like a co-star, and she's blown up since then, which is weird because I never thought Emily Blunt was ever, I guess she's like an everyman, okay, but an every woman. Like, she's pretty, but she's not super pretty, so therefore a lot of women can relate to her because she's cute, but not like sexy. You know what I mean? Like, she would mostly be invisible in a room, full of women. She would be invisible, but whatever. And women relate to that. Okay, so I know that's why she's there. And now she's got all this fucking cheekbone implants now that her cheeks just fucking go out like that now. And she looks weird. But back then in 2006, she didn't. Okay, she does now, but not in 2006. Did you see her in that Steven Spielberg movie that just came out like a month ago that completely flopped? What was it called? I don't remember what it was called. Because I didn't watch it. Like, the UFO alien thing, whatever. Yeah, she plays like an anchor woman. This movie just came out like 6 weeks ago. Nobody went to go see it. Okay, I forgot what it was called. Anyway, it's a Steven Spielberg movie, and I don't even remember what it was called. Okay, but she's in that, and her cheekbones just boom out to here. Okay, yes, she has very prominent cheekbones, but I think she's getting injections on them now to look like that. Anyway, it's weird, and she looks weird, but she didn't look that weird back in 2006 when this movie came out. And she's the first assistant, Emily, who's a bitch. Now, Emily Blunt is British in real life, so she speaks with her British accent. And, her real name is Emily in real life. So, of course, I'm sure, this role fit her like a glove. Okay. And I'm pretty sure she's into fashion since she's an actress and that kind of shit. All right. So I'm pretty sure she was perfect for the role. All right. And she's also a bitch as well. But she suffers more than Andy. She can't do her job 100% for things that are out of her control. She gets sick, stuff like that. So Andy has to step up and take on her responsibilities, which makes Miranda favor Andy now more than Emily, even though Emily's the veteran. Emily's like the number one assistant, and eventually they fuck over Emily and they put Andy into the number one assistant spot and take her to Paris instead. Okay, and Emily's all pissed off because she was starving herself and stuff, and now she gets hurt. She gets hit by a car, and now she's in the hospital, stuff in her face. It's funny. It's funny, and a lot of resentment. But she makes up. Andy makes up with her at the end, gives her all the free designer fashion clothes that she got. She gives it all to Emily as a hey, I'm sorry that I fucked you over and I took your job away from you and all that, that kind of thing. So she made amends with Emily, even though Emily was a total bitch. Okay, but she wasn't evil, but she was a bitch. All right. In Devil Wears Prada 1. So all in all, and then of course, Stanley Tucci, I gotta forget him, the gay guy, Nigel. Nigel is the art director for Runway Magazine. He takes Andy under his wing, teaches her about the business. He's actually a very good character. I like Stanley Tucci, his portrayal of Nigel. He was very warm. Person, I mean, he comes off as standoffish, but he's actually has very sensitive, he cares a lot about what he's doing. Like Miranda, he's also invested in fashion. Yes, he's a gay guy, okay, which the fashion industry is run by old women and gay men. Okay, that is what the fashion industry runs. So I'm sick and tired of women, fucking feminists, talking shit about how men are making women like starve themselves because men only like skinny girls and it's not fair. It's not fair. I should have to stop eating for a man. No, it's the fucking fashion industry, okay, which is run by gay men and women. So don't fucking look at us for the reason y'all are fucking making yourselves throw up. All right, it ain't our fault. All right, so moving right along. So Nigel over here, he takes Andy under his wing and explains to her, like, listen, you don't even give a shit about fashion. You're over here trying to ask me for help, wondering why everyone's rude to you, wondering why people make fun of you, okay? Why they judge you based on your clothes, why nobody wants to help you, okay? Why does Miranda treat you like shit, okay? Why does nobody respect? You know why nobody respects you? Because you don't fucking give a shit. Because you don't give a shit about fashion. You don't give a shit about what we do here. To you, this is just a paragraph on a resume. Okay? To us, this is our life. We eat, breathe, and shit fashion. And you don't give a shit about any of this. So why the fuck should I help you? And I was like, good point. Now, he didn't say it like that. He said it like a gay guy. I'm going to say it like a straight guy. All right? So, and I was like, good fucking point. Exactly. So here we are. The movie's trying to make you think that we should feel sorry for Andy because she's the new girl and everyone's treating her like shit. And she's, honest to God, just trying to, to get her foot in the door of publishing, right? In journalism. And now we find, no, actually, Andy is actually kind of a bitch. She doesn't appreciate where she is. She doesn't understand the significance of what she's doing, and that's on her. That's no one else's fault but her own. So I thought was very illuminating, and I'm glad they had a character like Nigel who's very level-headed. Now Nigel gets screwed over in the movie. He's supposed to he's supposed to go into business for himself or some shit. I don't remember. It's been a year since I saw the movie. Just watch my review. It's all in there. Okay, I don't want to watch that movie again. Okay, but he kind of gets screwed over, but he stays a good person. Okay, and he teaches Andy a lot, not just about fashion, but mostly about life. And I thought that was very, because, she doesn't have a father figure around anymore. Okay, so Nigel kind of becomes her father figure. He doesn't tell her what to do. He just suggests, and his suggestions are usually on point. And so I like that relationship that he had with Andy in that movie. Okay, so The Devil Wears Prada Part 1 actually surprised me a lot. It was better than I thought it would be, and so I didn't fucking destroy that movie. I mean, there's the usual shit in there that I didn't like. Okay, that's all chick flicks do it. Andy, the main character. Remember, Miranda Priestley's not the main character. Andy Sachs, was the main character. Okay, and she was a fucking bitch. So it's hard for me to root for a main character who's a total bitch. Okay, just because she didn't see herself as a bitch does not mean she was not a bitch. Look at the way she treated her friends. Look at the way she treated her black friend. Okay, and her boyfriend. She was a fucking cunt and a half. Okay, and the way she treated Emily. She was a cunt and a half. So, I wouldn't say that she was, Anne Hathaway's performance endeared me to her. It did not. Okay. But the whole point was she was trying to, to be a better person by the end. Okay. So there was an arc for her. So I'll give it that. All right. And yes, Meryl Streep did an incredible job as Miranda Priestley. I'm not a big Meryl Streep fan. She has always been mid. Okay, she's lucky that she's one of those actresses that didn't make it based on her looks. Okay, because Meryl Streep has always been, in my opinion, a very ugly woman. Okay, she's always been a very ugly woman. Okay, but I think that women resonated with her because they saw her and they weren't immediately intimidated by her. She's done a lot of really good movies. She did a movie when I was a kid called Silkwood, which was really good. She's been acting forever. I mean, she was in A Hard Day's Night. That's a black and white Beatles movie when the Beatles were a thing. Okay, I think that was the first movie she was in. Okay, she's been around a long time. She famously did not get the role in King Kong because the director told her she was too ugly. So they gave the King Kong role to Jessica Lange, and that ended up being Jessica Lange's first movie. So I remember her in Kramer versus Kramer with Dustin Hoffman. Two Jews fighting over custody of their kid. What else was she in? Like I said, Silkwood. She's been in a lot of things. I mean, she's been acting forever. She played Margaret Thatcher in a movie several years ago. Yes, she played the Prime Minister of the UK. So she's been around. Hell, I even reviewed her in a movie. I reviewed what the hell was it? Mamma Mia. Yes, I reviewed that movie. And no, I ain't reviewing Mamma Mia 2. Fuck that noise. Mamma Mia 1 was gay enough. I don't need to review part 2. But I reviewed her in Mamma Mia. Okay, and I didn't know that she could sing. Okay, and that movie was fucking god awful. That movie was a piece of shit. But she's been around. Okay, women know who Meryl Streep is. She's like Hollywood royalty. She is what other actresses want to be. The ones that want to be known as a serious actress, they look at Meryl Streep and they give her all the accolades. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to save Meryl Streep here. Okay, Meryl Streep is a worthless piece of shit in my opinion. This is the woman, who's supposed to be this iconic feminist that's a role model for all women, especially actresses out there. She's like the icon. This woman knew that Harvey Weinstein, was harassing his starlets. He knew that he was extorting them for sex. Okay, she fucking knew it, and she praised him anyway at the Oscars. She called him God at the Oscars. Okay, and she did not lift one fucking finger to help any other woman to protect her from Harvey Weinstein. Okay, because she didn't want to fucking lose out on any roles by pissing him off. You see what I mean? So she's just as fucking guilty as those Nazi officers' wives. The ones that were fucking helping their degenerate husbands kill all those people. She's one of them. Okay, when push comes to shove, okay, she will happily fucking let these young, beautiful starlets trying to make it in Hollywood. She will open the door for them into Harvey Weinstein's bedroom. Okay, and then praise him in public about being a god. Okay, so no. Okay, Meryl Streep, okay, is a worthless piece of shit. Okay, she's not a role model. She's not iconic. She's a degenerate, just like everyone else in fucking Hollywood. All right, only cares about herself. And here, this woman who's this big fucking feminist that won't fucking lift a finger to help fucking innocent women in Hollywood. So no, fuck her. Okay, but she is a great actress. I will give her that. She's a good actress. All right. Anyway, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this movie here. The Devil Wears Prada had a budget of, The Devil Wears Prada, this movie had a budget of $100 million. They spent $100 million to make Devil Wears Prada Part 2. Okay? Devil Wears Prada Part 1 cost $40 million. Big difference. Now, where is the difference? Okay, well, simple. The difference is in the salaries for Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and Emily Blunt. Remember, Emily Blunt was a nobody in 2006. Okay, she's a established star now. Okay, so those three women got some pretty hefty paychecks. A large percentage of the budget went to pay them. Okay, I read that. Okay, I'm not making that up. Okay, that's why it's not $40 million for this movie. It's $100 million. Okay, because Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, and Emily Blunt got paid a shitload to come back and reprise their roles. All right. So this movie cost $100 million. That doesn't even include marketing. Okay, who knows how much that was? All right. But this movie was a success. So guess what? We're gonna get Devil Wears Prada Part 3, okay, in 3D. Why? Because this movie cost $100 million and it made almost $700 million. So just think about that. Let's say, for example, the marketing was 100 million. That's 200 million, right? After the after the theaters get half of that, okay, so that's like $400 million to break even, and this movie made $700 million. So yeah, it made a profit. It made a big profit. So that means we're going to get another one. All right. So yes, it had women went to go see this movie. Okay, it made $689.4 million at the box office. So yes, this was a success. Okay, in an age where most movies that go to the theater are flopping left and right, this movie succeeded. It's one of the few movies that actually made a profit, a big profit at the box office in the movie theaters. Because remember, nobody's going to the movies anymore. Everyone's just sitting on their fat ass watching it on streaming or bootlegging it. All right. So yes, it's a success. And by the way, Devil Wears Prada Part 1 cost $40 million and it made $327 million. Okay, so that was also a success. So what the hell took them 20 years to make the sequel? All right. I don't know, but that was a success also. Okay. So The Devil Wears Prada Part 2 came out this year, 2026. It was directed by David Frankel, the same gay guy who directed Part 1. He also directed Marley and Me. That came out in 2008. I did not see that movie because I'm not gay. Okay, he also did Hope Springs in 2012. I did not see that movie either because I'm not gay. He also did an episode of Band of Brothers in 2001. I did see those episodes because I'm straight and I was in the military, and it was a fucking military show, Band of Brothers. It was produced by Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. Great miniseries. I actually liked The Pacific better, because The Pacific is also a miniseries that Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg made, World War II, but that Pacific was about the Marines, and I'm a Marine, okay? Whereas Band of Brothers was about the Army, okay? Big difference. All right, so there's that. He also directed a few episodes of Inventing Anna. I don't know if y'all know about that. That's that woman. She was some Polish middle-class girl who pretended to be a socialite. And people gave her money because they thought that she was a billionairess. And she hung out with like the richest people, went to the most exotic clubs, the most exotic yachts in the world, because she pretended to be a socialite. And people believed her. Wow. Yeah, Inventing Anna. Yeah, he directed some episodes of that. What else? He also directed the pilot of Entourage. Yes, that show Entourage. I did not watch it. I'm sorry. Okay, but I think I was in the Marines, or I was really busy back when that show was a hit. Okay, I didn't have time to watch fucking cable. I could barely watch my Sex and the City episodes, my Soprano episodes, and then I'm going to add fucking Entourage onto that. Sorry. I know it's a hit show. I know a lot of my guy friends have watched Entourage. I know, okay, just like a lot of my guy friends have watched Breaking Bad. I have not watched Breaking Bad. I'm sorry, I've been too fucking busy, okay? I got every fucking episode of Breaking Bad right over there on Blu-ray, okay? But yet I have not sat down and watched it yet. I'm sorry, okay? But it's the truth. It's the truth. Okay, Entourage, I did not watch it, but I do know what it's about. Okay, and the main character on Entourage, Adrian Grenier, that actor, he played Andy's cucked boyfriend in Devil Wears Prada Part 1. Okay, he was the star of Entourage, and this guy here, David Frankel, the director of this movie, also directed the pilot episode of Entourage, which is probably why he used Adrian Grenier in the first Devil Wears Prada movie. But he is not in this movie. I think his career went to shit. He's married with his kids, living on a farm somewhere. I have no idea what happened to Adrian Grenier. Nobody does, all right? His career did not blow up. All right, so what else? Meryl Streep plays Miranda Priestley, obviously the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine. This character, like I said in the review of Devil Wears Prada Part 1, is based on a real-life editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine, and her name was Anna Wintour. Okay, Anna Wintour is the real life Miranda Priestley. Okay, and in fact, in the last movie, a lot of famous fashion designers refused to do cameos for Devil Wears Prada Part 1 because they knew that there was going to be a character in that movie who was supposed to be basically Anna Wintour. And if that movie made Meryl Streep's character make Anna Wintour look bad in any way, that might incite the wrath of Anna Wintour, and any fashion designer who dared to make a cameo in a movie that pissed off Anna Wintour could be blacklisted from the fashion industry. So none of them were willing to risk their careers just to do a cameo into a movie that could possibly make Anna Wintour look bad. So they declined. Okay, that's the kind of power that Anna Wintour has in the fashion industry. Okay, yes, she scared the shit out of a bunch of fashion designers. So that's why they weren't in the movie. All right, I think one fashion designer did show up, but I don't remember who it was because I'm not fucking gay. Watch the videos if you want to see who that was. Okay, I forgot a lot of the stuff I said in that movie. Okay, so there's that right there. Okay, fashion designers, blah blah, whatever. Okay, Anne Hathaway, of course, plays Andy Sachs. Okay, the protagonist of these movies. Okay, Andy Sachs, by the way, okay, is based on the real life Lauren Weisenberger. Wow, we don't get more Jewish than that. Okay, yes, Laura Weisenberger. Okay, yes, yeah, she sounds Catholic, doesn't she? No, Laura Weisenberger in real life, before she wrote this book, Devil Wears Prada, and the sequel, Devil Wears Prada 2, she wrote the sequel too. Okay, before she did that, she did work as a second assistant to Dame Anna Wintour at Vogue magazine. So basically, this movie was based on Laura Weisenberger's experiences working for Anna Wintour. Okay, so there was some reality in this. Okay, yes. Okay, Laura Weisenberger obviously wrote this book that this was based on. Okay, what else? All right, Emily Blunt, of course, she's a big star now. Okay, she plays Emily Charlton, who is the #1 assistant of Miranda Priestley. And she's a bitch, but she's not evil, okay? And she does bully Andy Sachs around, makes fun of her eyebrows, her hair, her clothes, all that kind of stuff, okay? Her and Giselle something also do that, okay? Stanley Tucci, of course, comes back to play Nigel, the gay art director, okay? The fashion director for Runway Magazine, the mentor, so to speak, for Andy. He comes back. New people that are in this movie are Justin Theroux, yes, Jennifer Aniston's ex-husband, Justin Theroux. He is in this movie. Okay, he plays a billionaire named Benji Barnes. Okay, he's also a dumbass. All right, he's in this movie. He plays the billionaire boyfriend of Emily's in this movie. Also, Kenneth Branagh shows up in this movie. Kenneth Branagh is a very famous director and actor. Okay, you've seen him. If you're a stuck-up libtard, you know exactly who he is. He's a very Shakespearean filmmaker. He made Macbeth, the one with in the 90s, the one with Mel Gibson. He also, no, was that Macbeth or was that Hamlet? I think it was Hamlet. Anyway, he did A Much Ado About Nothing. He put himself in that movie too. That's another Shakespeare movie that he did with Keanu Reeves, Denzel Washington himself, and his then girlfriend Emma Thompson. Okay, they were together in a lot. They did a lot of movies together. Okay, it wasn't just Much Ado About Nothing. All right, so Shakespearean guy. He shows up in a lot of stuff. He directed Thor, yes, for the Marvel Universe, the first Thor movie. Okay, with Chris Hemsworth. Okay, Natalie Portman. You know all that. Yeah, he directed that movie. Yeah, he did. Because he's a Shakespearean director, right? So yes, he did the Thor movie. So he's a part of the Marvel Universe as well. Okay, he plays Stuart Simmons. He is Miranda Priestley's fourth husband. Yes, she's on her fourth marriage in this movie. She was on her third marriage in the last movie, I think, or her second. I don't remember, because her husband decided to divorce her in the last movie. Okay, in Devil Wears Prada 1. So I'm guessing that he must be her fourth husband. Anyway, and how did she lose her husband? Because she puts the job first. Okay. The whole feminist thing is all in here. The feminist manifesto is all in this movie, just like the last one. It's not about having a family. It's not about being a wife. It's definitely not about giving birth. Okay? It's all about your career. Women are here for the careers. okay? Which, if you really think about it, is so fucking stupid, okay? This whole ideology is propagated by feminists who fucking hate men, okay? So you're saying that if a woman marries a man and has his kids, okay, then that is indentured servitude towards the patriarchy, okay? It's just a man exhibiting, his oppression onto women. Therefore, the only way to beat the patriarchy is to not get married, not have children. Instead, go to a job where you work for a man for the rest of your life. Bravo, you dumb bitches. Anyway, who else? Lucy Liu is in this, of course. She's playing an Asian boss bitch. Okay, all the women in these movies are boss bitches. None of them are just like a fucking like a helpless, low self-esteem nerd. There are none of that, because there's none of those in real life either. All women are boss bitches. It's only the men that are weak, right? Right, ladies? All right. Yeah, she's just another boss bitch. She plays Sasha Barnes. Okay, she is the ex-wife of that pussy Benji Barnes, who is Emily Blunt's boyfriend, billionaire boyfriend, right? Okay, yeah, she's in here. Ex-wife, yeah. BJ Novak is there. He plays Jay Rabbits. This guy's a nobody, but basically he is, the owner, Emilia Clarke, I think that's the name. Yeah. Emilia Clarke is the company that owns Runway Magazine. Okay? It's Runway Magazine is a subsidiary of Emilia Clarke. Okay? Emilia Clarke is owned by Irv Rabbits. He's that old Jewish guy that we saw in the last movie. Okay? Miranda Priestley's boss. She answers directly to him. Okay? Well, guess what? He dies in this movie, and his son takes over Emilia Clarke. Okay? And what does he want to do? Okay? Well, first he starts gutting it all. Okay, but then what he really wants to do is sell it. Okay? He wants to sell Runway Magazine. Okay, so anyway, he's in this movie. Okay, BJ Novak plays Jay Rabbits, the son of Irv Rabbits. Okay, now just so you know, in real life, okay, the real Irv Rabbits is a guy named the real Irv Rabbits was a man named Sam Newhouse. Okay, Sam Newhouse owns the company that owns Vogue magazine. Okay, he has since passed away. His son runs the corporation now. His son's name is Don Newhouse. Okay, he owns the company that owns Vogue magazine. Okay. Yeah, I did a little bit of research on this. All right, yes, and yes, they are Jewish. Okay. Okay, moving right along. Simone Ashley, she plays Amari Marie, the first assistant, the new first assistant for Miranda Priestley. She's black, okay, or something. Anyway, Tracy Thomas plays Lily. That's Andy's best friend. Now, remember Andy in the first movie? She had that black girl that was her best friend. Well, guess what? She's back, and she brought like an extra 100 pounds with her, but she's back, okay, and she's still Andy's best friend. Patrick Bramall plays Peter. Peter is the love interest in this movie. There's not much of a love interest. Like I said, this movie is not about Andy falling in love, just like the last movie was not about Andy falling in love. Okay, I thought that's what it would be about because I thought it was a rom-com. It's not a rom-com. All right? It just has that tone, but it's not a rom-com. Okay, there's no love here, okay? But he plays the love interest, which is a very minor subplot. Okay, I was not impressed with this guy. I'd never heard of him before. Patrick Bramall. I don't know if he's British or Australian or where the fuck it is. For some reason, women get off on men with British accents. They could be fucking dog-ass ugly. They could look, like my fucking asshole. Okay, but if they have a British accent, all of a sudden they're sexy. And women want to fuck him, okay? That's what this guy is. He's a nobody. Okay, I wasn't impressed with him at all. All right? He's just another limp dick soy boy beta male. Okay? Anyway, he's there, and that becomes Andy's love interest in this movie. All right? And of course, Lady Kaka. She makes an appearance here, a cameo. So does Donatella Versace. She makes a cameo, okay, with her beautiful face. Anyway, Heidi Klum makes a cameo as well. In fact, she was so beautiful that I don't even fucking remember what scene she was in the movie. All right. Okay, Naomi Campbell also makes a cameo in this, but I don't fucking remember where she showed up in the movie either. And yes, I've seen the whole thing by now. All right, and who else? There's there's more cameos than them too, but I don't give a shit because I'm not gay. All right, moving on. So Devil Wears yes. So the book was written, like I said, by Lauren Weisenberger. Yeah, she sounds Catholic, doesn't she? No. Okay. The book Devil Wears Prada Part 1 came out in 2003, and hence they based the movie, came out in 2006. All right. She wrote the sequel book, which was called Revenge Wears Prada. Not Devil Wears Prada 2. It was called Revenge Wears Prada, Devil Returns. Why didn't you just call it The Prada Strikes Back or some shit? It's so original. And the sequel book came out in 2013. That's 7 years after the movie came out that she wrote the sequel, okay? Yeah, so she wrote both of them, like I said, based on her experiences working for Anna Wintour. Okay, $100 million budget. Okay, went to pay Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and Emily Blunt. I already mentioned that. Okay, so yes, so that's the background of this movie. Okay, all in all, okay, I was not that impressed with this movie as I was with the last one, but I would be lying to say it didn't feel like seeing old friends. It really did. Okay, when you see Nigel again, okay, when you see Meryl Streep's performance as Miranda Priestley, you're like, oh, okay. Now I remember why I like this character. They bring it back. Okay, unfortunately, some of that was to their own detriment. Okay, Andy Sachs, I'm sorry. Okay, I understand. If she's in her 20s, she's nervous and flipping out and moving real fast. And getting hectic and anxiety. I get that because she's like a number 2 intern. Okay, but that was 20 years ago. She's an editor now. Okay, she's higher up. She has people working underneath her now. Okay, but yeah, she still acts like, oh my god, she's still acting like she's a fucking intern. You see what I mean? I'm like, no. Okay, so why'd you do that? Okay, clearly 20 years have passed. All right, but she's still acting like she's the number 2 assistant. No, that's a load of shit. I didn't buy that part at all. Okay, but I did like Stanley Tucci. Emily Blunt in this movie is more of a bitch now than she was in the last movie. Okay, and what else? But I did like Stanley Tucci. And yes, Meryl Streep brought it. She killed it as Miranda Priestley. Okay, there is something inside of her, even though she's a cold-hearted bitch, there is a little bit of humanity inside of her, and you can see that in her performance. Okay, so yes, Meryl Streep does a great job. Pretty much everybody did a good job in this movie, okay? All right, so now that we got the background out of the way, the introduction is done, the next video I do, we're going to actually go into the movie, and I'm going to break down every single scene, okay? All right, and I'm going to give you a straight man's point of view. That's the point of view you never got, okay? Because you ladies cannot fucking handle the truth, okay? I'm going to give it to you, okay? Straight up, baby, with no lube. There ain't no lube here. Don't even ask me for any. There's none in here, okay? I'm going to do you raw. The way you like it. All right, anyway. So, yeah. Here. Before I forget, Diego knows Diego. This right here, that's my Rumble. Oh, sorry, that's my X. This is my X. Okay, this video's going to be on X. And then Diego De La Vega knows this is my Rumble right there. Okay? Because, you never know how they are. The Google owns YouTube. You know that, right? You know what that means. All right, exactly. They don't want to hear a straight man say anything, okay? Unless it's fucking propaganda, Marxist propaganda. And I ain't going to do that, okay? I'm going to tell you the truth. That's what I do here, okay? All right, so I thank you very much. Yes, I'm back. And soon we're going to start going back into The Devil Wears Prada Part 2, okay? I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.